this issue of palakihin na natin yung ulo ng mga kalaban, but then we have to somehow, whether we like it or not, we have to explain to the people why ganito ang sinasabi nila at bakit mali. And I would like to call on Secretary of the Foreign Affairs, Secretary Locsin, to do the preliminary explanation or talk.
Mr. President, colleagues, the issue here, you can keep talking about the arbitral award, and we all know how brilliantly that arbitral award was won when our German lawyer took away all aspects of sovereignty in the issue. Hindi yung they will decide, the arbitration will decide who is the sovereign over this or that area. Right, Harry? Okay. What the German did is he said, let's just ask them to rule what happens with these features. They show themselves at high, they're still apparent, you can see them at high tide, or you see them only at low tide, and what does it generate? What kind of territorial, what kind of sea it generates? That's it. Now, the question really is, who lost possession of that reef, Scarborough? I was a little hard on I have been very hard on the Americans, blaming them, because when there was a confrontation between a Philippine ship, Del, please correct me at any point, and a Chinese ship, and now it's become 30 ships, according to the Rosario, so I'm not sure how many ships there are, no? But when they confronted themselves, the participation of the United States was to try to stop people from attacking each other. Well, they think it's their job. So they said, stand down. So they stood down. And then the United States told both sides, not taking sides, said, withdraw. Now, if you believe, your government at that time believes that that is yours, why will you withdraw? These are only good officers of the United States. It is a suggestion. I think you should both withdraw. So what you should have done, I don't want to say that like I know better after the fact, but the truth is, if I have UNCLOS on my side saying we are within the exclusive economic zone, and the Chinese ship is not, from my point of view, then I'll just look at the other side and say, go. When you go, I'll go. But you go first. Instead, our side withdrew. So what happens to our claim that this is ours? Just give it up. Now, later on, they went to court. And then it decided one thing. Harry, tell me if I'm wrong. That the historical claims of China must yield to UNCLOS because it's the latest law on it. Never mind your history, whatever you think. History does not confer rights. Tradition does not confer rights once a law comes into play. So, that's all. I mean, why did we yield possession? And that's, I think, the first thing you must ask. Who gave the order to withdraw that ship? Because it is from there that we start having the problems that are actually a separate issue from the arbitral award. We won it. Well, actually, from the time when we won that, I immediately announced to the United Nations, again, please correct me. I said, this is not just us. By the way, the rest of the world didn't care. This is not just us. This is applicable to Norway. This is applicable to any other country because it was not a determination of Philippine or Chinese sovereignty. It was a description of features in the maritime areas. That was it. Now, who moved aside from that issue and then who yielded possession in the first place? I think you decide. I won't say. I'll just decide who withdrew. Again, the Americans could not force us. They couldn't force the Chinese. They did not want to force anybody. They just said, this is my suggestion so you guys don't kill each other. Stand down, withdraw. We were the first to withdraw. But yet, under UNCLOS, which is which is already old, we had first right to be there, but we pulled out. Now, who needs to explain then? I think before you start any debate about the merits of the obligations generated by the arbitral award, you must first settle the issue: who in a game of chicken stopped this car on the edge of the abyss first? That's all, Mr. President.
Actually, sir, thank you. That was what was in my mind when I challenged Carpio to a debate. Well, ang problema lang kasi dito is nakalimutan ko na si Carpio ang hindi ang presidente, ako. So, policy statement kung anong itanong niya, masasabi ko, and I might bind future actions of government pagdating dito sa West Philippine Sea. Pero doon ako sa kahon. It's not because I'm afraid of debates. Ilang debate na dinaanan ko nung eleksyon. Araw-araw halos. Ganito yan. Hindi ako lalabas, just like the position of the Secretary of Foreign Affairs. I would insist on the one issue before we go to the other side issues. Sino ang nagbigay ng possession sa China sa West Philippine Sea? Sila. Kaya kung hindi sila umalis, di walang problema. Tayo ang umalis because yung sabi ni Secretary Locsin about the good offices, ang ibig sabihin ng magandang loob lang, offer to mediate na para hindi magkaupakan. That was the America was there for. But ang aking ngayon is, my sentiment is, bakit hindi nila in-enforce? He could have said, look, you allowed us to mediate. Then, the result of that mediation must be followed. Ipapasubo mo ako eh. But America did nothing. Apparently, I don't know. Maybe afraid of China would turn its direction towards them. So, para tayo umalis talaga. At hindi na tayo nakabalik. Ang kinasabi ko na sa kanilang na possession, it's not really about ownership. It's not about sovereignty. Kung sino andyan nakahawak, ano has been building ngayon sa newspaper, they are building a military garrison. Nasabihin nila na hindi sa no possession. How stupid can you get? Hindi sa possession, pero ginagawa niya yung propiedad parang kanya. As simple as that. Ang debate ko sa iyo dito lang sa dalawa. Hindi ako takot sa iyo. Ang problema, hindi ko nga alam na hindi ka presidente. That's about it. Secretary Locsin.
There was one thing, and again, please inform me, Secretary Del. I've always said that even before when this was happening, I was a publisher. When this was happening, two things you must understand. You know that the media and nobody paid attention to this issue. I give credit to Noynoy. They were the first ones to do it. Every president, it was only the armed forces of the Philippines after independence. For some reason, nobody understands, including the great writer Hayton, started picking up features before UNCLOS. I think the armed forces had foresight. But whatever it was, they were all alone, so they did it. But the question is this. When they said in good offices, as the president used, I didn't even know the term, the good offices to mediate, stand down, withdraw. When we withdrew, the United States has no obligation, Mr. President, to go to war. The thing about the Mutual Defense Treaty is you have to be attacked. Nobody was attacked. We withdrew. If the Chinese wanted to attack, there was nobody to attack. The other side left, and I don't know if they would have attacked. That's one thing. I have talked to the Chinese to Foreign Minister Wang Yi, they have no intention to do that. If you had kept up that face-off, it might have ended up in just the two sides talking to each other. But why we withdrew when we had un clause in place that said, under this law, we have the right to be here, you don't. But we did. And that's the meaning of losing possession. When you walk away from that, and there is no obligation, even at that time, I would say, President Aquino, why don't you go into the water? It goes all the way there. Because you cannot expect the United States to trigger the Mutual Defense Treaty unless they sink the boat in which you are. But if you are not want to go there, in fact, I was willing to be a ship's cook. I can do it, you know. If you're not willing to go there, there's no obligation to defend the Philippines because it hasn't been attacked. There's no obligation to defend if you are not attacked. And that is what was avoided. One ship sailed away. Mr. President.
I would like to hear the opinion of illegal luminary, si Secretary Panelo.
Mr. President, mulat sa poll, hindi ako sang-ayon doon sa debate. Unang-una, ano bang pagdidebatehan? Resolve naman yung mga issue. Inaamin ni ex-Justice Carpio na yung Scarborough Shoal ay kinuha ng China sa ilalim ng Administrasyong Aquino. Sinabi niya po yun sa kanyang press statement. Sinabi niya rin na isang teritoryo pa kinuha naman sa panahon ni Ramos, ni Presidente Ramos, at kinuha ng China. Madali sabi, resolve niya, inaamin na nga nila, ano pang pagdidebatehan? Doon naman sa tanong na hawak ba ng China yung buong West Philippine Sea, hindi naman dapat pagdebatehan nyo sapagkat ang pinupunto nyo mulat sa pool ay yung Scarborough Shoal lamang at ito yung isang bahagi lamang ng West Philippine Sea. Kaya sabi ko nga palibasa kasi laking yaman ka. Itong presidente naman rin, laking kali. Mukhang hindi mo naiintindihan. Kagaya halimbawa, yung sinasabi nyo na yan isang papel lamang. Ang ginawa nila, tinitwist nila, binabaluktot nila, parang pinalalabas nila. Kaya kayo, o ang gobyerno, sa ilalim ninyo, ay hindi nagbibigay ng pagpapahalaga doon sa arbitral ruling na ang katotohanan, ang sinasabi nyo, ang katotohanan niyan, desisyon ng anumang hukuman o anumang pagkakasunduan ng mga bansa, pag yung miyembro dyan o nag-participate dahil sa kanyang kalakasan o kapangyarihan ay hindi patutupad ang isang kasunduan o ang isang desisyon dahil meron siyang kakayahan na gibain kung ano man ang gusto ng kalaban, magiging isang kapirasong papel doon sa party ninyo. Hindi sa, o rather sa party nila. Ibig sabihin, walang saysay sa amin yan. Kung baga, sige, sa'yo ang papel sa akin ang lupa. Sa'yo ang papel sa akin ang karagatan. Yun ang sinasabi nyo. You are not, kasi sinasabi nila, ang problema kay Presidente, binigyan ng kawalan ng halaga. Yung panalo hindi, binibigyan ng kawalan ng halaga ng kalaban. Kahit nananalo ka, ay hindi. Basta as far as we're concerned, we own this. Wala yan. Ay parang, sinabi ko sa programa ko sa Counterpoint, parang dokumento ng kasalan yan. Meron kang papel, pero yung mga spouses hindi naman sumusunod, magiging parang kapirasong papel lang yung dokumento ng marriage contract. Kaya nga nagkakaroon ng demandaan Kaya nagkakaroon ng annulment, ng diborsyo. Kasi yung mga participants ayaw ipatupad yung kanilang mga obligasyon sa ilalim ng kontrata. Yun ang sinasabi nyo, Ginoong Pangulo. Na itong papel na pinanalo namin, hindi nyo binibigyan ng halaga sapagkat sa ngayon, kayo ang may puwersa. Kaya ayaw ko yung debate kasi walang pagdidebate yan resolved, kumbaga, yung mga issue resolved na. Inamin nyo na nga, na kinuha ng China. O ano pang pagdidibatihan? Isa pa ang problema ko sa kanila, yung palagi nilang pinagpipilitan na kayo daw, takot sa China, hindi kayo mag-assert ng sovereignty. At ang ginagawa nilang argumento, tingnan mo yan si Presidente, sasabihin na naman niya, China is a friend. Marami tayong utang na loob. Humihinto na po sila ron. Meron kayong dinagdag Klarong-klaro, ano sabi nyo? Kaibigan natin sila, may utang na loob, pero intindihin nila ako. Sapagkat there are things in life that cannot be compromised. O sa wikang Pilipino, maraming bagay sa buhay na hindi po pwedeng makompromiso. At dinagdag nyo, yan ang sovereignty o kasaril lang. Ayaw nilang isama yun They stop dun sa sentence na, China is a friend. We owe them a lot. We are indebted to them. Hanggang doon na lang. Sabi mo, tingnan mo yung si Presidente. Pagkatapos, magagalit sila sa China, meron pang isa sinasabi sila, bakit naman ang gobyerno ninyo? Ang preparation nyo, yung mga Chinese vaccine. Tinatago po nila na 7 vaccine manufacturers ang kausap natin. Hindi lamang yan. Biro nyo, hindi ba, sabi nila, Pfizer ang gusto nila, Moderna. Pero hindi naman dumating. Ang unang dumating, binigay pa ng China, libre pa. Galit na galit pa sila. And yet, yung mga taong galit na galit sa China, ang itinuturok sa kanilang mga braso, puro Sinovac. Ano ba yan?
Makamura lang ako dito. Huwag na lang. Kayo na lang magsalita. Basta doon ako sa kahon lang sa... takot ako. Ano yung utak niya? May pareho kami abogado. Hello? Pero ayaw ko na magsalita. Publiko pa naman tayo. Nagmumura ako. Hindi lang inis, galit. Mga gago kung ano ginagawa. Using me as an excuse to right the wrong. Buang. Ano mo, it is never wrong to say that I owe you a debt of gratitude. Totoo Binigyan tayo, tinanggap natin, ginamit natin. But it does not mean na tanggapin ko yung bakuna at tapos sabihin ko, kalimutan ko na yung claim dyan sa West Philippine Sea. Okay na yon dahil sa bako. It is never like that. The world does not operate like that. The international relations would never work in that kind of na gamitin mo yung ginamit ninyo, anak ng witing, itong mga kayo ginamit pala rin ninyo tapos ngayon sabihin ninyo na mo ganito, ganyan. So I said it's never wrong to admit a debt of gratitude, but it would be wrong to use it as an excuse to maybe retreat from your, sabi ko, there will be no compromise. Alam ng China, baske bahaan tayo dito ng vaccine, gagamitin ko pa rin. So sabihin ko, hindi ito yung kabayaran, iba ito. This is Philippine national interest. This is not a health issue that nagpasalamat ako. And let me just also say, itong history ng ito for public consumption na ito. Tumawag ako kay President Xi Jinping. Sinabi ko kasi yung kasagsagan ng COVID, may kung walang dumating talaga, walang kapkap si Secretary Galvez. Tumawag, sabi ko, si President, I would like to ask for your help. Until now, in the Philippines is really at a loss of how to get the vaccine. Sabi niya, it's okay. We will help you. Ganun lang. Hindi naman sinabi, kalimutan mo yung Scarborough, sir, bibigyan kita. No, sinabi lang niya na, as simple as that. Sabi nga, thank you, Mr. President. It's okay. Yun. Yan ang bakuna ni Carpio pati ni... ito kasi... Bakit? Saan ba niyo kinukuha yung bakuna ninyo? Di ba kay Secretary Galvez? Kung sabihin, nagbayad kayo ng sarili ninyo. And let us now make it clearer kay Secretary Galvez kung magkano na lahat. Just give us a simple the sum of it all. Magkano available, magkano ilan ang dumating, magkano pa ang bibilihin natin. Simple as para talk in a vernacular para maintindihan ng tao.
Mr. President, so sinabi po natin kanina na meron tayong 7 na tinatawag na portfolio. So sa Sinovac, sir, meron tayong kinuha na 25 million. At tayo po ay nakabili na po ng umigit kumulang na 4 million na po ang nabili natin. At yung 4.5 million ay bibilin pa po natin this coming June. So sa Gamaleya Sputnik, meron po tayong kontrata na dalawang in-split po natin kontrata dahil kasi po yung isa po gagamitin po natin na DOH yung fund. Yung another 10 is gagamitin po natin yung ADB fund pagka po nagkaroon siya ng EUA sa stringent regulatory. So yung AstraZeneca, sir, meron nabili po ang private sector at saka LGU na 17 million. At darating na po rin po yun na mahal na President yung 1.3 million. Darating na rin po sa this coming June. Then Moderna, marami po nga nagsasabi na yung sinabi nga po na sa isang ni Tulfo na parang kinuha natin yung 13 million sa private sector. Nilinaw po natin, sumulat po kami kay Mr. Dante Ang na yung Moderna po 13 million ang nabili natin. At yung 7 million, yun po ang nabili po ng ICTSI at ang mga tinatawag nating Ayala Group at saka yung consolidation ng mga consortium na 7 million na doses ang nabili po na. So total po na 20 million na pinagtulungan po naming i-raise ng private sector at saka po ng government. Initially, ang ano po natin noon, ang hatian supposed to be is 8 million sa government at 12 million po sa private. Pero hindi po nakuha yung ng consortium yung 12 million. So kinuha po natin yung dahil sayang din po yung yung volume. Sinasabi nga po nila na kailangan natin that time yung volume. So nangyari nga po na nabayaran po natin through World Bank yung 13 million. Then sa COVAX meron po tayong darating na 44 million at nag-order pa po tayo ng additional 10. So more or less mga 54 million po ang darating po sa atin sa COVAX. At ongoing po ang negotiation natin sa Pfizer na 40 million at sa J&J na more or less 5 to 10 million. At sa Novavax po, meron po tayong 30 million. So all in all po, ang doses na nakalaan sa atin, medyo may pasobra tayo dahil kasi yung nga po ang tinitingnan po natin ng ating vaccination might be happening in 2 or 3 years time. Para at least ang ano po natin, January, hindi na po tayo maghihintay, dire-diretso na po tayong mag-vaccine again ng second second tranche ng ating vaccination. Kasi po, yun ang sinasabi po ng ating mga mahal na mga expert na this COVID might be a long haul na 3 taon tayong magpapabakuna. So sa lahat po, maabot po ng 193 million doses. At ang nabayaran na po natin through DOH fund is yung in-order po natin sa China at saka po yung 15% na in-order natin na 10 million sa Gamaleya Sputnik. And then yung Moderna, dahil darating na po siya, meron na po tayong advance through World Bank. Yung iba po na hindi pa po dumadating, hindi pa po namin babayaran dahil kasi po ang ano po natin is 15% babayaran po natin and then later on pagka once na papadating na po, babayaran na po natin yung 85%. Yun po ang ano po natin, mahal na President.
Okay, now let us end this by with an explanation itong jet ski brouhaha. Alam mo, panahon ng kampanya yon. Hindi siguro sanay itong mga gago na style ko sa kampanya. Pati yung bunganga ko ngayon. Nagyabang ako na pupunta ako sa Sprat Day. Magdalaga ako ng flag, sakay ako ng jet ski. Nagplano ako niyan. Bumili ako ng jet ski, ang kaya ko second hand lang. So nag-order ako ng pizza, hanggang ngayon, hindi pa dumating since then. Walang dumating, wala akong magawa. Ngayon, Secretary Lorenzana, may I ask you, how far is this Pratley from the beach of Palawan? Tingin mo, ilang kilometers yan?
Mr. President, yung ating isla doon, ang tawag natin ay Pag-asa, ay mula Palawan, siguro mga 150
kilometers?
nautical miles. Hindi na kilometers,
Nautical miles. No.
So malayo po yun, Mr. President.
So ganun, when I was plotting, nagpa-plot ako kung saan ako magdaan, nakita ako doon, ilan naman yung tangke ng jet ski. Kailangan ko ng gasolina, supply. Pagtingin ko, puro dagat, wala man ako makitang gasoline station along the way. Sabi ko, mahirap ito. Dito tayo mamatay na walang kakwenta-kwenta. So, yan ang istorya. Ngayon, paano to? Paano? Panahon sa panahon sa kampanya yan. At saka yung biro na yon, yung we call it bravado, yung bravado ko, was a pure campaign joke. At kung naniniwala kayo sa kabila, pati na siguro si Carpio, pati I would say that you are really stupid. Maghanap ka ng tao dito magpunta ng jet ski. Hindi ba ako mag-abot pa ng ilang oras, I would conk out in the middle of the sea. Sabi nila, ang waves, ano bang waves sa Tagalog? Yung alon pala dyan kasing laki ng dagat. Sabi ko, mahirap ito. Sabihin ko na ng balang araw sa pinipiling nyo na inabot talaga ako ng takot. Wala ako magawa. Takot ako mamatay. Walang gasolina. Ang spare parts hanggang ngayon, wala. Tapos pag sabi na punta ka doon, sabi ng Navy, ang alon, maabot mo sir, kasi laki ng barko. Una, patay. So, balik ako doon sa Kung naniniwala kayo niyan, I really do not know if you harp on that. It's a pure... I was not taking lightly the sovereignty, but it's a pure joke actually. But just to emphasize na talaga, hinaloan ko lang ng biro. Ngayon kung if you swallow it, my God, hindi na ako mag-comment na. Sinong gago? Alam ba ninyo hindi ako marunong maglangoy? Kung matumbang yung yawa na pa, magkapakapa na ako. By this time, I would have been the late Rodrigo Duterte. Kung tutuhanan na yun. Ngayon, mukhang yun ang jet ski. Kayong maniwala kayo para isipin ninyo kung paano maging totoo yan. Matutunaw yung utak ninyo. So, mga kababayan ko, yun ang explanation ko sa jet ski at sa ibang mga issue sa ating confronting sa ating bayan. I would say to you, it was a pleasant thing to be with you tonight. And maraming salamat sa pagtagiling ninyo. Maniwala sa jet ski boat.